Warning, this podcast may contain bad language and comedy that some listeners may find offensive.
And nothing about dairy farms.
Welcome to Seesaw Podcast with T and Cleves.
Each week, offering up a blurry perspective on life. And we're back, milking it, much like on a dairy farm, for the second week. We're chatting to Christina Warner once again about the stuff that wasn't in the last episode, but also to do with the recording for this episode. I'm just going to say I haven't actually listened to episode 101. I haven't heard the final edit.
Wow.
Have you? Well, you edited it. Yeah. Well, you edited it, so yeah. Yeah, of course you have. Yeah.
Twice, in fact. The first time I was there, and the second time I listened to the sound of my own sweet voice.
Yeah, well, I know the conversation, but I don't know where you do the cuts.
What's the difference between a farm and a dairy farm?
I can't remember.
Oh my god. Let's go straight into the second part.
Straight into the second part.
Disability is one of those things where we're still fair game. We are always the butt of the joke, aren't we? Because I think we're seen as being, I think the stereotype of us, or what the general public, able-bodied people think, they assume that we aren't productive individuals, that we are all on benefits and we're all scroungers. When actually, I just would really like to have my sight back, thanks. But unfortunately, I don't have that choice. But they have a choice to be idiots, to be muppets, or to be a bit more sensible.
Yeah.
Is that a bit too cutting?
No, absolutely.
Yeah, I think if we weren't being treated the way that we are, and I don't know if you're familiar, there was a UN consultation back in 2016 that indicated that austerity measures had violated our human rights to live independently, to be able to access benefits swiftly. If that wasn't taking place for the disabled community, I'd say, all right, let's just chill out a little bit. But that is a reality for a lot of us. We're more likely to suffer homelessness, when the increased rates of domestic abuse that we have to endure, sexual assaults on disabled women and girls. We are a disproportionately more vulnerable situation than able-bodied people. So what gives the able-bodied community the privilege to take the piss out of us? I'd say they don't.
Would you say it's okay for a disabled person to take the piss out of an able-bodied person?
I would say yes, because they're the majority, we're the minority. I think you need to tread carefully, because I think taking the piss out of anyone, I think is a very low form of humour.
I know, but why is it fair game for disabled people to take the piss out of able-bodied, but not the other way around?
Because we may well have been able-bodied ourselves.
Does that matter?
Yeah, I think it does, because I can then draw from my lived experience of having been able-bodied.
Yeah.
And no longer being able-bodied. That may be the form of comedy, comparing what my life was like with what it's like now. That may be my kind of thing, my what do they call it? My skit, my shtick. That may be something. And I could certainly talk about that, because that's an experience that I've lived.
But do you think, like, if there was let's say there's like a disabled comedian, let's say there's someone in a wheelchair, for example,
Yes.
and they can say, oh, it's great because I can do this, because I can walk, and that's like the joke. Is that okay?
Oh, what, like the Little Britain Andy and I can't remember his.
No, not necessarily that. Just like, let's say there's someone who's genuinely disabled.
Yes.
Right. And they were saying, I don't know, it'd be great because it would be much easier to climb Mount Everest if I could walk. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. That's just, it's a shit example. But let's just say that's like kind of their shtick, and that's the joke that they're going with at the time. Is that okay?
It's not offensive. It's not like bringing down able-bodied people, is it? I think that's the distinction here, isn't it? When an able-bodied person is making comedy out of the disabled, that, like Christina said, it's not having that lived experience, not having the understanding of what that person is going through, and drawing assumptions for comedy's sake.
Yeah, but here's the video bringing down disabled people, because they get free sweet line cuts.
Well, I don't know about you, but I've never gotten a line cut like that.
Okay, not like that. How's your theme park game?
I haven't been to a theme park in years and years and years.
Bullshit. Me and you went to Chessington about fucking 5 years ago for my 30th.
Like I said, years and years and years. That's
Sure,
5 years,
right?
man.
And we got to skip all the queues.
Not all of
and
them.
it was sweet, baby.
Not all of them.
Not
Only half.
Yeah, well, the problem is we went to the wrong theme park. We should have gone to Alton Tower. Well, no, it was down. The theme park's irrelevant. The point is, we got to skip queues.
Okay, but I think you're talking about advantages here and there,
Mhm.
and okay, that's fine. But we're talking out and about. We're talking like in day-to-day life.
Well, the disadvantage of being a cycling or an able-bodied person is that they have to queue,
But they get to see.
Yeah.
right?
Like,
But they have to queue. This is what I'm saying. There's advantages and disadvantages to a lot of things. What makes one thing okay for one person and not another?
Well, I mean, this is my personal lived experience because I don't get to cut queues with a guide dog. I have to worry about being allowed in an establishment half the time.
Mhm.
So I can queue up at the same cheesecake shop and then have someone shout at me, and then I have to educate them on the law. Whereas what's happened there is a bastardization of it's been addressed as a hack, and it's not, because I don't know of many people. Put it this way: if he didn't have full sight, he wouldn't have been able to do that and navigate that as a fully blind person. It would have hit the first person, then just
Not
stood
fully
there.
blind, but I think I could have navigated that same thing.
Yeah, but are you going to emulate that?
I think I could. I wouldn't. I would have stood in the queue.
But why wouldn't you?
But I think I could have emulated that exact video.
Yeah, I know, but why wouldn't you? Like, this is the other side. Why would you not do that? If this has been addressed as a hack and you are a legitimate visually impaired person who would not be taking advantage of a situation that's been addressed to you as a possibility, why would you not do that?
Well, this is okay. Well, this is the other question, isn't it? This is the question we're coming down to. Is it morally okay to have done what he's done?
No.
No. Even I would agree on that.
It's
And
basically disability blackface.
even I will agree on
Not
that.
the trio agrees. No, it's not, because disabled people don't we don't do that. We don't do that, and it gives us a bad name. It makes us
does.
look like we're all selfish, self-centered, when it's not. I just want my damn cheesecake, people. That's
Yeah.
all I want. I just want to go about my business. Or even small thing. I think that it's this idea that the disabled community, we're either faking it, we're useless, or that we're all grifters. And
Okay. I've just thought about this, right? Though,
Go on,
and
go
I'm
on.
using my own example here. Let's say we're at a theme park and the regular queue is 100% accessible.
Mhm.
Should you queue or should you use that disabled fast track queue? Because there ain't no way I'm queuing with the regular folks.
Well,
I want to be
that's on
done.
you,
I want to be
Boo.
done with Alton Towers by 1:00. I want to be riding Nemesis at least 4 or 5 times by the
I'm
time
going
I
on
get
the
home.
Smiler, all right? Get
Exactly.
out my
Well,
way.
maybe not. You become disabled if you go on the Sliler. But
You go, as far as I'm concerned, you go on the accessible one, because if it's been made accessible in order to be inclusive, then that's what it's there for.
yeah, but let's say the regular queue is accessible. Should you be
Yes.
using that?
Well, yeah,
And queuing
because-
like everyone else.
what, queuing like the peasants?
Exactly.
Well, if it's accessible, then it should be inclusive. It's been made accessible to be inclusive. Therefore,
Mhm.
we should be using that queue.
Okay.
I
That-
think
that's
that.
fair.
Yeah, I wouldn't use. There wouldn't be that second lane, because the bog
It's for the
standard.
fast track people, though, isn't it? It's for the people that paid extra.
Yeah, but if it's been
All
advertised
the people that
as
paid extra. Well, that's on. They've paid extra, haven't they? So
Yeah.
if I've paid extra, then yeah, I want to get mine.
That's
if I
true.
haven't-
But in Alton Towers and Thorpe Park and places like that, it's disabled and fast track normally.
yeah, but if that's what they're offering, then they have already made the concession that that's okay as far as what they're concerned and their policy.
Mhm.
So if they were saying, "Oh, this is just for the people who have paid extra money, all of our queues are accessible," that's their decision as a business.
Yeah, but we're
Yes.
talking about the moral aspect of things now. And if you know the queue's accessible,
Morality is overcome by company policy. You should know that.
Sticking it to the man again.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a tricky one, but I think that from a moral standpoint, the video just makes us all look bad, because it makes us look like we're all just out to get a freebie,
Yeah.
or all out to, and it's embarrassing, because we just want to go about our business. We
Yeah.
don't, as far as I know, all of my disabled friends, they don't want special treatment. They just want equal treatment.
Yeah.
see, here's the problem. I've said to T on several occasions, if you're
Mhm.
disabled, you should rinse every benefit you can get your hands on.
If you pay taxes, I agree.
Ooh,
I think that's
that's a
enough.
separate issue.
That's another episode. I think,
Wow.
I
okay.
think that's another episode. But yeah, I agree with you, Christina. And I think with videos like this, I think the harm is done when you have even one person whose mind is changed or perception is altered by something like this. And I've had it even recently where, and I'm not saying it would spawn off of this video, but then I've been in the shop at work looking for a sandwich, and I've got my guide dog with me, and then someone's tapping me on the shoulder and going, "How can you read what sandwich you're getting?"
What's it got to do with you?
Well, I said I actually used one of the, it was actually the title of the second part of our interview, last one. I just told them to educate themselves.
Educate yourself.
And just went back to my business. And like, that's the problem. Like, things like this, unfortunately, you will get one person here and there who is going to make a really shitty day for one disabled person. And is that worth it?
So who was it that said that to you? Just put that into context for me. I need my imagination to be completely. I need a full mental visual. How did this just run that past me? Like, how did that happen? You're just going about your business. You got the doggo with you. Going to get some Cocoa Pops. Going to do your business, and someone just comes over to you and is like, "How can you see what's on the?"
Yeah, so I was just getting my meal deal at the workshop, and I was
standard
like,
issue, my friend. Standard loves it.
So I've got to pick up the sandwich. I've got to bring it to my face. I can't look on the shelf. So I pick it up, bring it to my face, and go, "Oh no, egg and cress, get out of here, get in the bin.
Get out."
And then like that's what I do, and I put them back, stuff like that. And then someone tapped them on the shoulder, and they went, "How can you see what sandwich you're getting?" And I'm just like,
hang on. All right. Let me just clarify. Was it that they were asking you, do you need a hand? How can you see? Or was it literally, I want to satisfy my own morbid curiosity of a disabled person?
It was the morbid curiosity.
Oh,
there was no, I'm going to help you with this.
Get in the bin. No.
Yeah. Well,
Unreal.
This is the question with the video, isn't it? Because is the person in the video, can people turn around and say, "Are you legit blind, mate?" Because he's doing this sort of thing. He's already perpetuating the stereotype that people are just going to do it to get the free benefits.
And I think that's the danger, isn't it?
Yeah.
And all it takes is one person to believe that, and that's been a really negative thing.
And people were genuinely nice to that person as well in the video. They were like, "Oh, sorry, mate."
Yeah. Because I've never known anyone that's been like, oh, actually, no. One person, and she's a barrister, and I don't know if she would be happy giving her name, but she told me of an experience where she has no peripheral vision, and she said to me that she was using her cane because it was getting quite dark, and someone actually tried to grab the cane from her, and she was absolutely terrified because obviously not having peripheral vision, it kind of came out of nowhere for her.
Yeah,
and I think that's outrageous. Or when you get people that try and press the buttons on what are their wheelchairs called, that not the manual wheelchairs, the wheelchairs that not
the electric ones.
The electric wheelchairs. It's like, why would you do that? And I think that it does give us a bad name because people just assume that we're all grifters and we're out to get what we can, all the freebies, and it's like, we just want equal rights. We don't want to be treated any more special or anything like that. We just want equal rights. It's as simple as that. And cheesecake, please. Vegan.
Yeah. Preferably more quicker than anyone else.
Yeah, exactly. We would need a VIP, and by VIP I mean visually impaired line. Okay.
Yeah.
So visually impaired person, cheesecake, #vegan for me, line. That's what we need.
Nice.
So if he can make that happen, then I'll let this whole video slide. But morally, I just don't get it. I don't really get what the humor is. And I think it actually made the able-bodied people in the queue, it made them look really good because they did move out the way naturally. No one's going to be that person that's like, "Oh, there's a blind person, piss off." No one who's going to be that dude.
Yeah. I have had another experience which did make me laugh, and this was getting on a bus. And okay, I will say I am the blind person who will push the front of a bus, but that's often because I will say to my dog, "Find the bus."
Yeah.
And he doesn't care who's in his way. Yeah. He's going to find the way. He'll queue when he sees a queue, but sometimes he will just go in the middle of one and be like,
"Busy dog, got places to be."
Yeah. And he'll be like, "Oh, I'm going on now." It's like, okay. And a lot of people are cool with that. And this must have been a few weeks ago. There's a couple of old dears getting on in front of me. And then one of them said to the other, "Oh, we're going to let this gentleman on." And then the other one says to her, "He's blind. He ain't got nothing wrong with his legs. He's fine."
She's got a good point.
And then she just got on the bus.
Get in the goddamn queue.
And
I mean, I respect the sass, if I'm honest.
Yeah, and that's what I was like. I was like, I actually had a little laugh. I was like, oh, you're absolutely right. There's nothing wrong with my
Fair
legs.
dues. Fair dues, Nana. Fair dues.
Yeah, like proper old school sass there. And I was like, all right, fair enough. I can
Okay.
take that as a joke.
Yeah, I get that. No, do you know what? I think that's, I think it's fair enough, really. And I think you got the other
Could you have
side.
said to that person in that same thing in the queue?
Fair enough, you're being sassy.
Oh no, you're blind. Nothing wrong with your legs. Get in the queue.
Would I say it to anyone?
Oh no, I'm just saying. Like, could those people in the
cheesecake queue.
yeah, in the cheesecake queue, because he basically just muscled his way to the front of the queue, right? Just because he was blind, and people were too afraid to say anything.
Yeah.
But maybe that the older generation, again, this is what I was kind of saying in the earlier episode, in the sense of, is it all fair game or is it no fair game? Older people used to consider everything fair game. And
they did.
There's no person now over the age of 10, or under the age of 10, shall I say, probably even less than that. Let's say 15, that would turn around to a blind person and say, "Nothing wrong with your legs, mate. Stay in the queue."
Ooh, do you really want to be? Do you? Oh God! But that would be like. I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying, but why are you so bothered that they push in front of you? Are we just indicating how British we are? There's a queue. One must go to the back of the queue. Like it's.
Look,
it's
I want my cheesecake faster than that. I like if so. There's no
emergency.
There's no excuses for people pushing in front of people. If that person was in a wheelchair, would they have to queue? Probably yes. They're not. If you were in a wheelchair, you wouldn't have wheeled past someone, would you? Go, excuse me, mate. Excuse me, mate. Just get to the front of the queue. Would they? If that was me, I'd be like, where you going?
But that I think is the point of the video, isn't it? That this guy is saying that he's completely blind and therefore couldn't see the line.
I
don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know if that was the point of the video, or if it was like, I am blind and so I'm going to take advantage. I think he was trying to say, I mean, I don't know, I can't speak for the guy, but if he was actually saying, I can't see the queue, so I'm just going to walk on through, and other people were like, oh, going to get out of the way, and correct him. I don't know if that's what it was, rather than, oh, I'm just going to walk on through here because I've got delusions of grandeur. That wasn't my to be fair to the guy, that wasn't my takeaway. My takeaway was that he was just walking through because he allegedly couldn't see the people around him.
Right. See, my takeaway was the opposite, that he was just like, I'm blind, and therefore I can get to the front.
Wasn't how I understood it.
I think that's
interesting. That says more about me, I think.
Yeah,
I think that's interesting that you've both had two different perspectives on that, and that will be like the same throughout the general population. Like everyone's going to take this in a different way. I think that's where the danger lies. I mean, not to cut us short, but we have been going for a while, and I think this is a very controversial issue, and I don't think we're going to solve the issue. Like, well, we're absolutely not going to. But don't be a dick on TikTok. That's what I'll say. Just don't be a dick. Come on.
Well, my question is going to be basically, does disabled people just can't find that shit funny? Are we getting a bad reputation by calling this out? We did a whole episode on it, see how disabled people should be able to laugh at themselves.
But we do.
I know this person isn't disabled, but she'll be able to laugh at this as well. She won't be able to call it out and go, that is a good point, actually. We do get to the front of the queue, and that's pretty sick, and I really like it.
That's the difference.
Yeah. But should disabled people be turning around going, yeah, that is a good point, mate. We do actually get some pretty sweet benefits.
I'd rather have my sight back. So you can keep your sweet benefits, but I'd really like full sight, thanks. But I don't get that choice. That's the problem.
You don't get that choice, but can you enjoy the fact that, you do get some benefits out of the sight loss?
But those benefits are there, to put my legal hat on, those benefits are there to level the playing field, not to give us an advantage.
Yeah.
So the reason that we are given personal independence payments is because the cost of being a disabled person day to day is more expensive than being able-bodied. So it is there to assist us with leveling the playing field and being able to pay our bills. And the access to work, you know how I feel about the access to work scheme, but we all feel the same. Yeah, we all do. The access to work scheme is there to ensure that there's a level playing field in ensuring that we remain in employment and we are still able to maintain a livelihood. That's not there to give us an advantage. That's there to level the playing field. So being able to go into the fast track queue or whatever it's called, that is there to level the playing field, not to make us feel better and not to give us an advantage. And I think that's what the able-bodied community doesn't understand. A guide dog, canes, hearing aids, mobility scooters, mobility walking aids, they are not there to make us let me see how I can phrase this. Those items are not there to give us an advantage. They are there to assist us to be able to function, to level the playing field. And I think that's the difference. So, and I would also question if you pose the idea to someone, well, you're completely deaf and you're dependent on a hearing aid. Do you really need the hearing aid though? It doesn't give you an advantage. It levels the playing field. It allows you to function in a audial hearing world. The same way the guide dog does the same for those that are partially sighted or low vision, and the same way that walking aids do for those that are with challenged mobility. It levels the playing field. It doesn't give us an advantage.
Yeah.
It's not like steroids in the Olympics. I just need that edge. I just need that edge just to make sure that I'm living just a little bit faster or a little bit slicker. No, it's not. It's just, the lighting I've got in my flat, it is glaring, and I'm fully aware that any able-bodied person or any full sight person that comes into my flat is like, whoa, it's so bright in here. It's like neon. Well, that's my average. That levels the playing field. Bless them for them. They're blinded by what they're seeing, but that's how I need to live in order to live a functioning life. And I think that's the difference. Yeah. I don't know if I've come across as being a bit aggressive.
No.
I've been told that quite often this week. They're like, God, why have you got this confrontational? This is how I make my living, people.
Yeah. It is a very tricky side of things. And I think you and Cleves have like very different opinions on this. Yeah, and I think that's absolutely fine. And at the risk of making this an entire month worth of content, which we've said that we wouldn't drag out an episode for a month again. I think there's definitely stuff that we can come back to here. There's definitely some stuff that we can turn into another episode down the line. But if we can summarize our thoughts on the video in one sentence, what would it be?
One for all and all for one. No.
Thanks, Robin Hood.
No. Was that a Robin Hood phrase? I am from Nottingham.
Or is it the Three Musketeers?
Three Musketeers. Oh, yeah. So another.
Robin Hood was rob from the rich, steal from the. No, the other one. Yeah, rob from the rich, give to the poor. I was going to say steal from the poor.
Okay. Needy, yeah.
Yeah, give to the needy.
Okay. Well,
I'd say that these types of videos are cryptbait, and that's not cryptocurrency.
Wow. Is there any more crypt-based analogies you got for me?
They're exploitative and they're there purely to clock up views.
Yeah. I would say this is overly complicated, and I'm going to sit in the middle of the seesaw on this one.
Yeah.
God damn.
Squarely.
Has brought disability into the spotlight, though.
Yep.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Whoop, whoop.
Either way.
Yep.
As it should do. So, do you guys want me to do the Disability Expo plug? How do
go ahead.
That.
How do I?
Before we go, Christina,
Yes.
could you have anything you would like to plug?
No.
God damn.
Plug. No. I don't think so. No. Hang on. I'm trying to think. No, sure. I'm up for a couple of awards, but they're like legal awards. They're going to be a bit boring.
Wait, what about the Disability Trust? Help with that. This is your one chance. Get it out there.
This is my one chance. No, hang on.
And you've just gone no. Recording stop. Recording stop.
No, I was the Shaw Trust. So the Shaw Trust Awards were last month, and it celebrated the top 100 most influential disabled people in the UK, and I was very lucky to be named as one of them. And I met some amazing people. Yeah, and athletes, journalists, writers, activists.
That's really good.
Yeah, they're all in the top 100, and it was just amazing because I met some fantastic people. I'm going to see if I can dig out her name because she's just DM'd me, and she definitely deserves a shout out.
Also, my other question is: are they ranked?
Yeah, they are.
Oh, mate, dare I ask where you ranked?
Oh, I think I was like 60 something.
Oh, that's good. That's really good.
I'm hanging out like.
I thought you were going to say like 98 or something.
Someone has to be.
Do you know what?
I'd be well happy if I was within the 100, let alone like 60.
We're not getting to 100. Seesaw is not
absolutely
I'll nominate you guys. I'll do it secretly, but it won't be so secret because you'll know. I'll nominate you. But for instance, I've just found her. Her name is Heidi Crowder. She does campaigning for children with Down syndrome. And she is fantastic. And I, in my absolute ignorance, didn't realize that the laws in terms of terminating pregnancies are different if the child has Downs.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so she would be really good for you guys to. I know she's not visually impaired, but she also campaigns for. She raises awareness of the fact that people with Downs are allowed to get married.
Okay.
Yeah, she's fantastic. And she was there. She was in the top 100 as well. It was just just great vibes. It was fully accessible. Although my only peeve with the evening was that the cutlery was, so the glasses were all clear and the jugs of water were clear. So pouring water from a clear jug into a clear glass was comical for me. So that was...
Come on, man. Just put your thumb over the top and pour it like a regular Blinky.
But yeah,
what are you doing with your life? Come on. That's like Blinky 101. Jesus.
Listen, calm yourself. Sit down before you do yourself a mischief. Anna that I met there, who is the human rights activist, she's a wheelchair user. So she was guiding me because she couldn't quite get to the table. So she was like, left, and to the right. Yeah, you can start pouring the water now. And I was like, this is... each other's skills, using each other's skills.
Nice.
So yeah, it was a really, really cool. No, it's because you get like 4 or 5 glasses on a table, don't you? You get like the big white wine, red wine, water, soft drink.
Yes.
Like, oh man, which one did I don't know which one I put the liquid into, and I don't know.
Drink them all. Drink them all.
Yeah, all of
just
them.
The largest. Just put everything in the
drink
large.
out the bottle, straight out the jug. No, I don't really have anything to plug.
Okay, Disability Expo though.
So the Disability Expo is taking place on the 6th and 7th of July 2023.
My B-Day.
Oh wow. Well, obviously this is all about you. This is why the disability.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to make this all about me. Sorry, go on.
It's taking place at the Excel Centre in London, and it's the UK's leading person-focused event for people with lived experience of disability. So I'm going to be on the People's panel, and they are doing amazing stuff. They are on Twitter, and I think they're on the LinkedIn as well. So yeah, show some hearts and love.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, T, that I'm not going to be there because I've already booked tickets to Silverstone.
Well,
No.
we'll see if T is there representing Seesaw Podcast.
You and Selena should go.
And I will make sure that all the links are in the show notes, of course. But you will hear more about Disability Expo going forward as the year goes on, because when something exciting comes up, I'm sure Christina will let us know, and we will heavily promote.
I will let you know. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I should be mentioning on today about disability. Sorry, yeah, I've just found it here. Anna Landry, she says CRIPCall. CRIPCall, the disability near equivalent of catcalling when able-bodied people feel the need to direct unsolicited, strange, and I can't read. I think it says often rude exclamations at us in a public space. There you go.
Don't CRIPCall.
Don't CRIPCall, but I would also say that video is CRIPBait.
Yeah, absolute CRIPBait.
CRIPBait. So, but yeah. So I'm sad that Katie couldn't join us. I don't know her very well, but she seems like a cool girl, especially that she clapped back at that Wesmer guy.
Yeah.
I would have loved to get her thoughts on everything.
Poor girl got gaslit by that troll. She got gaslit by him because for him to say, "Oh yeah, let's have a show and educate," and next thing you know, he's taking the piss out of people.
Yeah.
No. I would have let it go. I would have said, all right, okay, devil's avocado. He's trying to be decent, but no, for him to then say the things you can see well enough to be able to type. Oh, hold my earrings, hold my shoes. It's on like Donkey Kong because that's what I think it is as well. I think it's the absolute audacity of saying to someone like Katie, yeah, I'm open for conversation, to having really sensible dialogue, and then being rude to the parents of children who are disabled. I just think to myself, no, then he becomes fair game for all of us. Then you basically opened the hellmouth then, haven't you? Because all of us are involved.
Yeah.
Like just you do your strict liability really, because then you are inviting them one and all to become involved in a conversation. So
Yep.
Yeah.
there we go. That's
Yeah,
my, but I know it's a very
absolutely.
nuanced issue. So hope it
Yeah.
wasn't too controversial.
Well, we will touch on this in another episode, absolutely. And I don't think we've heard the end of this as a topic. But for this time, what I'll do is I'll sign us off now, and we'll chat to you soon. Thank you very much. It's been amazing. Ding. And we're back. Cleves, you know what was in there. It was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
What specific parts of it did you find endearing and interesting?
Oh, most of it, to be honest. And then obviously there's a little bit of feedback at the end with regards to the Shore Trust. Good to spotlight that, and the Disability Expo. So
Absolutely. I agree with all those things that I acknowledge were in there.
in that case, see you next week.
Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to the Seesaw Podcast.
You can find us on Twitter at Seesaw Pod, Facebook, Reddit, Instagram and YouTube at Seesaw Podcast. You can also email us at seesawpodcast@gmail.com. Like, rate, review, subscribe, and then you can also find us on TikTok, but get us on all the other places. This podcast was recorded in front of a blind audience.
Chat to everyone soon. Do you want me to go now?